Hello everybody, it is Halo here, and in today's video I'll be going over the checklist for my models. Okay, so if you guys have already seen my models video, you understand how and what I look for my Model 1, my Model 2, and also a piece of my Model 3, as it is a mixture of multiple things. You guys have an understanding of how I trade now. So here's the checklist of what I really use for basically all of my trades. Okay, so please, again, like before, get your notebook out, back test, forward test. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. So some foundational information that'll be covered in this video: what is being utilized, Kraken correlations, premium discount, and refinement. If you guys don't already know, all of these are key components within my trading: Kraken correlation, premium discount, and refinement. So all of you guys are going to be utilizing this if you go ahead and implement anything for my strategy, right? So again, pay attention. So checklist, here's the start to finish of exactly what I'm looking at, right? Start off with structure. Structure is the most key component of everything in price, right? Sequential SMT supports the structure that's already in place. Structure, right? Structure is going to be your primary thing, right? If structure is not lining up with your outlook or the sequential SMT, you need to wait until it does, right? If you're going to go ahead and catch a top or bottom of a range, structure needs to align, right? Is price actually going to go ahead and move up after taking this low? Is price going to move down after taking this high, right? That's what I mean by structure. Kraken correlations and premium and discount, a very, if not the most important thing in my trading, is Kraken correlation, premium discount. And the Kraken correlations can also fall into the category of sequential SMT because that is a Kraken correlation. But premium and discount, Kraken correlations, TPDs, PSPs, open close divergences, all that stuff are very, 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 very important in my trading, right? And of course, the entry being the last thing that I do. The least important out of all of them is the entry, because the entry should be self-explanatory and just, clicking the sell or buy button after having everything checked off, okay? So this is the foundation of all of my trades. Every trade I take needs to check off all of these, and if one is lacking, there either needs to be structure supporting the reason why it's vacant, or I won't take the trade at all. So again, the sequential SMTs in this, there are some trades where I actually take it where sequential SMT is being erased, and some people might see like that, like kind of like, oh, that's weird, like what the fuck. Well, it's not weird, because if structure lines and we have an internal low, right, which is basically the trade from Friday. If you have an internal low that has sequential SMT, right, but then we soup the internal low, tap into OT on one asset class and fail to do it on another asset class, that's a Kraken correlation in itself, right? So structure is trumping the sequential SMT, as it always does, and then you'll have a redistribution up higher, right? And I'll show you an example of that soon as well. So of course, structure, as I already mentioned here before, structure is the most important part within your trading. When looking at structure, these are a few things to take into account. So these are questions you guys should all be asking yourselves when looking for proper structure to trade. Is there higher highs or lower lows being made? Has every asset class reached its target? And when I say every, I mean every single one. Is price more likely to go higher, or is it more likely to go lower? Now, when I say has every asset class reached its target, I mean, has every asset class hit its intended target to then reverse? Its target might not be a previous quarter high. It might be an internal high that is resting right above that previous quarter, right? Or right under that previous quarter high. And I'm going to show you guys an example of that as well, right? And is price more likely to go higher or lower, right? If we mitigate highs and we have weekly cycle sequential SMT at the highs, is price going to go higher, or is it going to go lower? Is structure supporting the move higher, or is it supporting the move lower? That's also going to go in, come in play with Kraken correlations, premium and discount, and a bunch of other stuff, right? So sequential SMT, when looking for sequential SMT, make sure that it is supported by the current market structure, right? And here are some questions you guys should be asking yourselves to know if the sequential SMT in the market is actually going to hold, or is it going to fail? Right? So is there weekly cycle, daily cycle, and 90-minute sequential SMT? Is price likely to reverse at this price point? Is there any other tool I can use besides sequential SMT and structure to solidify my narrative? Right? So First question, is there a weekly cycle, daily cycle, or 90-minute, right? One of those three, or a monthly cycle, whatever it may be, right? Is price likely to reverse at the high that we have? Is this sequential SMT probably going to be the high or the low of the day or of the range? If the answer is no, why? That should be answered by structure, by the way. Right? And is there any other tool I can use besides sequential SMT and structure tools to solidify the narrative that's already instilled? Meaning cracks and correlations are going to have a huge aspect of your entry, right? So in terms of refinement, you're going to be using sequential SMT as the base, but you're going to be using other crack and correlations as references to go ahead and support that narrative as well. Crack and correlations with premium and discount, right? This is a very important piece. When looking for crack and correlations with premium and discount, there are a few things that should be referenced. Okay, is there sequential SMT supporting that crack and correlation? Meaning, if you have a 15-minute open close divergence, is there daily cycle sequential SMT? Or is there 90-minute cycle sequential SMT? Because if there's daily cycle, cool, you have a 15-minute open close divergence. Is it a PSP? Right? If there's 90-minute cycle sequential SMT and there's a 15-minute open close divergence, is candle 2 a PSP? And if it is, it's probably a TPD, right? Is price trading at a premium and discount of the range that I have marked? Now, of course, I say that not currently right now, but in the range that you have marked, if you're using the fractal PRC or PSP model, is price trading at premium or discount of the range that I have, right? Okay, if it's trading at discount and I want to see shorts play out, I would expect premium on at least one asset class, right? So am I likely to take a long or a short here? Right? And would it be ideal to trade 2EQ or off of it? Meaning, in this case, as I have shown here on the chart from the previous video, we take out the fractal PRC, or in this case, the fractal distribution candles low. We tap at true week open, we form a 1-minute PSP, and then we tap EQ on at least one asset class. Right? So am I likely to profit off of a long 2EQ, or is it more likely for me to take a trade off of EQ? Or can I do both if need be? Right? Just some questions you guys can ask yourselves in terms of taking these type of stuff, or this type of stuff, right? When you're looking at entries, you need to refine everything. You need to refine everything within your trading, right? So let's say, for example, for sequential SMT should be supported by your premium and discount, right? Sequential SMT, if it's a valid sequential SMT, should be in the upper echelon. If you're looking to short, the upper echelon of premium, right? That should be, if not the absolute premium of the range, somewhere in premium of the range. Excuse me. Right? So in terms of that, if the sequential SMT is currently instilled on the market, and let's say, for example, here, where I showed you guys from before, where we have 90-minute cycle sequential SMT, but the 90-minute was created by an internal high, which is Q1's high, being mitigated and us trading above equilibrium, and then hitting OTE. That's still trading. That's in the upper echelon of the range. That's in the premium of the range, right? So this sequential SMT is valid, right? Right. This would be a valid sequential SMT to then take a continuation downwards off of, right? Will you look for a reversal? No. Is there SMT at the lows 90-minute? Yes, but which one's likely to hold? The one in this case, right? Following structure. So initial distribution, your initial move downwards, OTE of that range, internal high resting right under OTE of that range, mitigation of that high, creating 90-minute cycle sequential SMT, 15-minute TPD alignment, sell off down to low of day. Super simple, right? So again, utilizing this to then support this, right? These will work in tandem with each other, sequential SMT and premium and discount, okay? If there's any questions you guys may possibly have, feel free to go ahead and ask me, or type it in the chat. I'll see you guys later.